AskRed by Uncliffish Bits. What famous person essentially cancelled themselves because they couldn't stop being stupid? Anthony Weiner. The absolute jackass loses his job as a member of Congress because he sends dick pics to someone not his wife and a minor. On the campaign trail for mayor of New York, he does it again and gets caught again because he's a goddamned moron. Seriously, if my name was Weiner, I think I'd be hyper conscious of the implications. Ezra Miller. I keep hearing this person's name in threads like this and I have no fucking idea who this person is and why everyone knows them. Steven Seagal was an asshole on the sets of the most dreadful B movies and he still supports Putin and his weird propaganda about denazifying Ukraine. He makes crazy self-produced movies now. They redefine awful. Can I really think people underestimate just how much goodwill Kanye had for so long. He spent a decade telling people he was the greatest thing since they put nipples on titties, and everyone was just like, yep, that's Kanye. He went off the deep end so fast it's staggering. It was like ruining his legacy was his full-time job. Jussie Smollett. Deleted. And Edic. Hopefully it sticks this time. You know, I have never liked John Lovitz. Didn't think he was funny, just always irritated me. Then I read a story about him beating the shit out of Andy Dick because of some comments and involvement with Phil Hartman's death, and he definitely earned my respect. Not famous, but James Charles should be in federal prison for the amount of times he's been caught doing dumb illegal shit. Yeah, honestly. You can't sexually harass minors whether you're a cute twink or a creepy old man. Shit's never okay. Less famous than others mentioned, but essentially half the staff of Rooster Teeth. What a downhill ride. We're talking Joel Heyman, Ryan Haywood, and Adam Kovic, right? How many more are absolutely fucking horrible people? Nikki Klein from Battlestar Galactica. She's not super big, but she sure as shit ain't going to be big now. What the hell? I was reading about her on her wiki page. No idea about all this. It just keeps getting weirder and weirder. That's a shame, because she was really good in BSG. Chevy Chase. Real effort behind this one. That guy has put decades of work into canceling himself. Shane Dawson. With that also a vision. Edit. I bring him up because he had ties to Shane Dawson. Shane wanted nothing to do with him. Also, if you want to venture into the controversy, you can look up on YT his history. Someone other than Asian went into depth on it. It is a clusterfuck of madness, trotting the line of legality. To sum it up, he is hated by basically everyone and for good reason. Charlie Sheen. At least we all learned from Charlie Sheen's meltdown that Denise Richards is one of the best people in Hollywood. They had 2 children together. She had to take out a restraining order against him and got full custody of both children. Later on, she took custody of his 2 children with what's her name, Brooke somebody, despite Sheen threatening to kill her repeatedly and saying doing other awful things towards her, because she wanted his children to be taken care of and protected. She put up with all of his shit in the media and did not say one goddamned word about him, to protect his children from that later relationship, and ensure they had a safe and happy home, and their relationship with their parents could be preserved until their parents were allowed custody visitation again. She also preserved their relationships with Sheen's family. She is a very good person, who has shown incredible grace and generosity to innocent children who deserved no part of any of this. And Edic. Being a sex pest was basically his whole shtick for a lot of the 90s, and apparently people used to just laugh it off back then for some fucking reason. I just watched a video on Soulja Boy. Pretty stupid human being who couldn't stop doing illegal crap. Can't wait for his console to drop that or to turn things around for him. Rudy Giuliani. I'm a native Naya and I was living there on 9/11. He handled himself and the whole horrible situation beautifully and I really respected him, but then he just went off the rails and tarnished his reputation. He will never be taken seriously again. Helena Taylor. She was the original voice for Bayonetta and pissed away all of her goodwill and drove most of her fans away in the span of about 48 hours after lying about how much she was offered to reprise the role, and stooped so low as to attack Jennifer Hale, who had nothing to do with her being replaced. I wonder what her endgame was. Like, she knew she was lying. In what world does she walk out of that shit the victor? Not really a person, but you can watch Wizards of the Coast do it in real time right now as they obliterate the reputation of Dungeons and Dragons. The buffer that was the whole $1,000 proxy Magic: The Gathering. You pay $1,000 for 60 cards that you can't even use in gameplay, so like Magic NFTs but a bit better since they do technically have market value. Sounded good at first, until Yu-Gi-Oh upstaged them by re-releasing the first 5 core booster sets, which are tournament legal, provided they are not already on the ban list, for about $5 a pack, with 9 cards per pack. What is only just making themselves look greedier? James Corden. The fact that he thought he'd have a successful Reddit AMA is fucking hilarious, LMAO. Surprised no one has mentioned TJ Miller yet. I ran into him at Outside Lands Music Festival in San Francisco when he was with the rest of the crew from Silicon Valley. We were just waiting in line for burritos from a food truck and someone asked him what's it like to be so famous now. I'm paraphrasing, but he grabbed the person by the shoulders and looked them eye to eye and said, "How would you feel to never have privacy again? How would you feel to have people in your life all of a sudden wanting and desperately needing money from you? Everything you do is ridiculed. It's awful, but you're not allowed to complain about it because you're rich and famous. Never hope for this for yourself. It's toxic." It was a bit metered because he was obviously being bugged by someone while he was just trying to get lunch. Paula Deen. She seemed like one of the nicer footy celebs too. Armie Hammer. Fetish shamed and couldn't stop talking about it to potential partners. Hopefully Logan Paul IDK, when we're going to have enough of this piece of shit. We just keep saying he's not that bad anymore, but he's scammed thousands, filmed a dead body for clout, committed animal abuse and neglect. I think another part of it is the fact that so many like to compare him to Jake, who as we know hasn't changed at all and is still an obnoxious asshole, therefore making Logan look better despite the shit he did. They are both pieces of shit TBH. James Franco. Which is funny since we, those who live near where he grew up, knew him as a creep for a long time. What kind of grown-ass man goes back to his local high school and dies the girls there? A creep, that's who. Cher, transformed into dust in the wind. Pauly Shore. Saw him at the end at a comedy club in Jacksonville, FL years ago. No one laughed and he just complained about his life the whole time. He wasn't really cancelled though. It's just that his shtick got old. He couldn't make the transition from 20-something stoner to 40-year-old comedian. To be fair, Pauly Shore is Dead was pretty good. Matt Lauer, Charlie Rose, Kevin Spacey. I know no one will know who I am talking about, but when we talk about being cancelled I will always think of the Brazilian podcaster Monique, who defended Nazism, racism, and said that people with child porn shouldn't be arrested. He now throws around stupid political takes every once in a while on Twitter, but no one takes him seriously. He went from having the biggest podcast in Brazil to becoming a joke, to becoming synonymous with stupidity. Rosenbar. It's actually sad. I loved her show and found her hilarious back in the day. Tyler Tequila. Elon Musk, not cancelled but just managed to turn general popularity into 50% of people having a negative opinion. Edit, maybe losing $100 billion is worse than being cancelled. Ellen DeGeneres lost her show when it came out the whole be kind thing is an act and she's actually a horrible person. Piers Morgan. Eric Clapton during and amp, post-COVID. Van Morrison, same thing. Tyler Tequila. She was everywhere in the early days of reality TV. I forgot she existed. Alec Baldwin and his big mouth and sperm bank existence. His wife. Fake Spanish accent, who does that?